Cars are out on track, it's a huge grid, and Team Darkside leads them away as ever. Can anybody interrupt their rhythm?
I'd say perfectly timed there, wasn't it? As they started to come out halfway through your grid.
Yeah, you nailed it perfectly with when we should go for it. I think I was going to wait a little bit too long there. You caught me before I got pulled out.
Back into my sight, looking through those gaps in the trees as they come up to lodge, and I'm almost certain it's going to be a red and black car in the lead, but it's a case of which one. And the top three look much closer than certainly when they disappeared from my sight, and it looks like the Higginson 83 is leading, but he's got that Honda Civic of Heslop and Roberts right with him, the number 4 car. In fact, the top three crossing the line with gaps of 0.2 and 0.6, and they're breaking away from the rest who are actually headed by the 172, the Hyde Clio.
Yeah, interestingly, the last time
side by side down Cascades towards you.
Oh, this is going to get very, very tight then for the lead of the race. Higginson just about loses out. He was on the inside, but he didn't dare brake late enough, so Heslop and Roberts in their Type R through to the lead. Will the Team Darkside be able to take advantage? Down towards Island Bend. It's unfortunate for him, but very, very exciting to watch.
We do have one car in the pits. We'll just try and see.
Is it the Clio?
It is a blue Clio, yes. Yeah. It's the 56. No, it's a Fiesta, sorry.
Oh.
No, I wasn't expecting that. Been slightly caught out there. So it's the 56 car of the Harry Nager, Chris Walton Sport Fiesta.
And we've got a car off at Cascades as well. Has beached itself in there. Looking to the inside, lunging to the inside comes Darkside, but not quite close enough, and the VW gets the nose side off, and again off the road goes Higginson. That's the third time today he's done it. He'll get it back on, but he cannot get the braking right in towards the Hislop chicane. He loses out to the VW, and he will tuck into the slipstream and try and hunt, as they will now both be set after race leader Hislop and Roberts actually now getting a little bit of a breakaway as a consequence of that fight. Line goes straight on in the 71. BMW rejoins behind the Z3. Z3 has a moment on the power. Now this 3 Series BMW is going to come up to challenge. They'll be side by side as they disappear from view. That one will be decided at Druids.
Oh, we've got safety car.
We've got a safety car. That will be for the car stopped at Cascades, I believe, then, because it is in quite a dangerous position and is not showing any signs of moving.
This is exactly where we had a safety car on the first race, isn't it? At the end of the second lap, they came round to be greeted by the safety car board.
And I believe that was also caused by a car stopped at Cascades. So.
And we've got lots of the same drivers and cars out there. It's a groundhog race.
Yeah, we're doing it again. We're stuck in a time loop, but... So much confidence for Scott at that part of the circuit. His gap between himself and third position hasn't really opened up at all, but now the Clio in fourth is applying the pressure. That one in the hands of Honeybone. It's got the Apple on the side, easy to spot. He's looking to challenge for the podium at this stage.
That's right, that car was quick earlier on, wasn't it? You mentioned Dan Goes. He gained a place actually straight after the safety car when he actually went past Dave Thomas in that lovely red MR2 Mark 1. So, yeah, possibly still clambering his way up the order.
He is, and he's immediately gapped that MR2 Mark 1 and is trying to get himself back on two terms with the BMW Z series that's up ahead of him.
Leader just coming up and popping back into my sight over Dear Leap. Sorry, I hesitated actually because he's got quite a gap, and that actually slightly threw me because I was expecting the front lead two to be much, much closer together. Higginson coming through second, car 13, actually dropped to third. So that's a gap of 4 seconds across the line. So something happened there, I think, out of our sight.
Yeah, Parkin incredibly strong on the brakes, potentially went for a move that hasn't paid off. He's dropped down to third, has to pull off the pass on Higginson all over again. Now, last time these two fought, Higginson made a mistake, went straight on at the chicane. He'll be wary of that. He's done it 3 times so far today, but immediately the Golf's trying to apply the pressure underneath, gets a better exit from Cascades, gets a nose alongside to the inside of Island Bend, but surely will have to back out of that one as they enter the quick, incredibly quick left-hander near that top of the circuit. Then you're breaking in towards Shell Oils. On the brake is where that Golf is strong, so that one isn't out of the question in this particular fight, particularly against Higginson, where that's where he seems to be struggling, whether it's Mark or Matt. I'd anticipate Mark, given that he was struggling earlier on in that previous race, and before you know it, they've exited there. They're curving left on the entrance to Britain's. That's what makes it so difficult. Pick your braking point, fire it over the curb on the left-hand side if you're brave enough, then accelerate out. The leader has already emerged over Hilltop. Then we've got that huge gap, and the Golf is struggling once again to get past this Civic. You'll look to the inside, it's covered off by the Civic of Higginson though. Can Higginson get it stopped? Yes, he can. He's a little bit deep, but nothing untoward. Holds the position, holds the line. To the outside at Knickerbrook, looks the VW Golf. Scott Parkin's not close enough there, however. So once again, you'll file in, try again, potentially, but it's always covered by a red Civic. Now you'll get to the inside of Druids Willing. No, nose is wiped. He'll have to try again somewhere else.
This is just Christmas for the Heslop Roberts car, isn't it? As they're battling, that car already put in the fastest race lap last time round at 2 minutes 12, which is the fastest lap I think we've seen all day. and had a 4-second advantage with squabbling over second place, and that's just everything they could ask for.
I can confirm, by the way, that Mini that went round the outside at Cascades was Freddie Hewitt, I believe, and he just tried to do the same to another car at Knickerbrook. Didn't quite come up, but Freddie Hewitt loving the outside line.
Leader crosses the line, and the gap obviously bigger than the last lap. So it's just watching them coming through now. Who's coming through first? And it is the Civic of Higginson, and the VW Parkin looks to the outside, side by side. He's going to try and go around the outside, and he's got enough alongside that he's forcing Higginson to stay tight and takes the lead through Old Hall. Superb manoeuvre going into second place.
Yeah, now the question is, can Higginson fight back? And he's not going to be anywhere near close enough by the time they reach Cascades. Already a car and a half, 2 cars lengths separate them. A wobble for the VW Golf of Scott Parkin as he gets on the power through Cascades. It's all gathered up without too much further issues, however. There's a little bit of a fight developing between the 191 Mazda and the 98 Clio as well. Clio to the inside.
We've also got the pit lane window open. First 2 stoppers are 101 and 21. So that's 101 is the Jamie Jeffrey BMW, and 21 is the Russell Danzy Jack Wood BMW.
Freddie Hewitt still involved in action. Quinn's Ford Fiesta took a look down the inside at Cascades, but that's where Quinn got passed around the outside, so Hewitt didn't really care. Got on the throttle, and I believe he'll still have that position. Once again, the outside line. I mean, Freddie Hewitt's best friend in that little hunt on the outskirts of the top 10.
As I say, it's a brave manoeuvre to try that, but then again, we saw a brave manoeuvre here when Scott Parkin. It's not every day you see.
Laps ago, Scott Parkin with the simple unforced errors, he tries to close in the leader. He'll still have a cars and a half or so between himself and the chasing pack, and I say pack because it is a pair that is trying to close him down, but he'll still have second position. Just a little bit of a confidence hurt, I think, as he attempts to close in the race leader. He has got time, he doesn't need to push too hard, but that's exactly what happened. Freddie Hewitt's now gone straight on into the runoff. So this battle, this is for 11th position with Johnson and Thompson, Hewitt and Quinn. Hewitt actually comes out in the lead after taking the runoff and doing the bollard. So, I mean, he's done exactly as he's supposed to do according to the regulations if he goes straight on, but he has definitively gained an advantage there.
Leader across the line, having completed 7 laps now, looking very nice and tidy, taking the line he wants. And then we're coming through, and it is actually, you're right, it's that VW now in second from Parkin, 7.6 seconds back, and with 2 seconds in hand over the third place car, which is starting to actually come under a little bit of pressure, I think, from the number 44, isn't it, the Jordan Honeybone car?
Moment for Tom Starkey. We remember that name from the previous race because he was hunting down for a P2 before making a mistake at Cascades. He has a lot of damage. He's got a huge dent on his left door, and the entire rear bumper is missing from his grey Honda Civic, so something's happened to him near the top end of the circuit, and crucially, there is a rather large piece of Honda Civic lurking somewhere on the track.
That's usually at the end of the day, you go around the marshals trying to get it back, but they've now got to wait 5 hours, haven't they, for the EnduroKA race before they can do that.
Maybe he'll come around to meet them, he'll know where it's happened, because that is going to be a hefty impact. Off the road goes one of the BMWs. That is one of the... Has he got it spun round for the Foster's Loop? He has, I mean, credit to him. That is the white, grey, blue and yellow. All the colours on this one. I believe it's the 21. It is. Russell Danzy and Jack Wood drive that one. Got it wrong at Cascades. Went down the Foster's Loop. Turned it round, unlike we saw in the earlier race, and got going again.
Okay, we've got first car from the top 10 has actually pitted, which is the number 66, so it's Richard Clark bringing his Fiesta, but it's going to be interesting. I wonder if the leaders are going to be waiting for the first one to dive in and then they'll all do the same, or will they stay out and try and over or undercut?
I'm not entirely sure. Parkin's gap to the leader seems pretty constant. We'll wait for the time screens to confirm or deny that, however, but the battle for third is really where you'll find the action, because Higginson is now coming under pressure from Honeybone. It's Clio versus Civic. At the moment, Higginson's Civic leads for the final podium spot, but Honeybone looks stronger lap by lap. There's more and more confidence at the wheel of that one. and then on one of the first flying laps has gone off. That's not great. It would just be a lack of acclimatization for the conditions, pushing too hard, because it's drier than when these guys were out for qualifying, and that makes it so easy to overstep the limit when you first head out on track.
That's right, just seeing who else we've got coming. We've got one of the Hondas coming in. That's actually, that's the car 16, so it's the Gay Tester car that was running 6th, I think, when it crossed the line. It's dropped to 7th as it came down the pit lane. So that's one of the first of the top 10 to actually come in. And we've still got another 9 minutes or so left on this pit window. And part of this is really picking your moment to come in when it's not actually too crowded in the pit lane, because you don't really want to get boxed in or hampered trying to make your stop.
No, you do want to make sure you come in when other people aren't. There's a great battle happening for 26th position. The 98 Renault Clio has just made progress past the Toyota MR2 of Thomas. It's going, ebbing and flowing, however. It's coming, it's going, and that battle will continue to grow. What about the fight for third place? Well, actually, they're about to encounter some traffic. On the exit of Knickerbrook, that you could not choose a worse spot to meet a backmarker. I think somehow he's actually not going to lose any time to Higginson amongst all of that, but the gap's somewhat bigger than it was before they encountered the backmarker still.
That's right, and that's going to become more and more of a factor as the race progresses. Just watching up to see, looking over the hill to see, I should be seeing the leader, I think, who's gone past you fairly soon.
Yeah, the leader is long gone. I'm loving this battle between Hewitt and Quinn. Hewitt's at the wheel. In fact, that's not correct. Quinn and Glover and Wright. They were the wrong way around on the time screen. Glover and Wright are driving the Ford Fiesta, just trying to close in. And
leader's gone past me and had a pit board waved at him, so I think we could expect that number 4 car to be coming in next time round. We've also got one of that lead group has actually peeled off and come into the pits.
The 21 BMW is not having a good time. He's completely sideways through Knickerbrook again. I mean, he's held on to it, credit to him. He's got a grip of steel to keep that one together, but another moment for that predominantly white BMW.
Jordan Honeybone in from 4th.
Here we go then. Honeybone, I think, was being held up by Higginson.
So it could be a good time to actually come in and make your stop.
Yeah, the undercut coming into play. Higginson will need an absolutely mega lap on this time round and bail on this one to try and keep that car behind you. Then you can defend it for the remainder of the time left in the race, but at the moment does not have to actually overtake you. He can pass you on pure time trialing, if you like. And this is where it all gets very, very strategical in that hunt for the podium.
That's right. Perfect time for Jordan Honeybone. There's only 2 other cars in the pit lane. It's just sat there in splendid isolation.
Yeah, the undercut, if you're not aware of that phrase, you're new to motor racing, that sort of idea, it's where you box, but whoa, I'll come back to that because one of the Clios is spun at Cascades, but he's on the tarmac, so he'll be okay. Yeah, he'll get that going. He's in the little Foster's loop, so he'll get that going again, no problem. But the undercut, you box the lap before your competitor, which means you come back out in free traffic, and the laps that matter are your lap coming out to the pits and the other guys going into the pits, because obviously the pit stop will be near enough the same time. So you're just time trialing that one against each other, the out lap versus the in lap, to see who can come out ahead in the battle. Of course, if you're behind and you come out ahead, it's huge because you didn't actually have to overtake. Your rival couldn't defend against you.
That's right. I was expecting the leader to think about coming in, but the person I thought was going to be taking the car over still stood on the pit wall, so I suspect that might have been maybe a 2 laps to go signal to whoever's in the Heslop Brothers car. So they come out again get that pit board. So, yeah, very organised team. So they've gone past Heslop with a 2:14 last time, so sitting about half a second back from how fast that car can go. And then just coming through now, it's Scott Parkin in that 13, that livery on that black and red Golf, who's now sitting almost 10 seconds behind.
And crucially, even though Parkin now has free road, free air, this 21 BMW is ridiculous. Crucially, although Parkin now has free air, he's consistently 4 or 5 tenths away in terms of lap time, so not able to close in. That Clio that was off at Cascades has gone round again, this time at the Hislop chicane. It is the 168, the MRM. It's got James Joannou, the name that I couldn't get right when doing the grid. James is the only driver in that car, crucially though, so Whether he's entered the pits or not, he should know the conditions, but has now made 2 mistakes in the space of about a lap.
Got our third place car, the Higginson family Honda, is actually also in the pits now. Suddenly, is this all about this timing? We've now got a busy pit lane again, with at least 8 or 9 cars in here.
There's a yellow flag wave. There we go. It's gone. I was going to say, there's a yellow flag wave on one of the marshal's posts, but it's one of the marshal's posts where I can see the track that it corresponds to, and I didn't think there was an incident there, so we're all good. No, yellow flag goes back in.
There's obviously a reason for it. And,
I believe it was for the spinning Clio, but they couldn't see that it had stopped spinning and started driving again. Honeybone's looking really quick here. That's the lead car that is ahead of Honeybone, I believe, on the road. Although Honeybone, having made the stop, is now down in about 13th position. But it's not getting away. Honeybone is sat there, holding station with the guy in the lead of this race. It's a really good pace. Higginson and potentially Parkin are under threat here.
It'll be interesting to see, actually, yes, as it pans out, because we've only got 3 minutes 40 now of this window left. We're still waiting for our first and second place cars to actually come and pit. So they're going to be doing that very, very soon. Again, the gentleman in the crash helmet who's waving the pit board at the Heslop Roberts car is this time he gets a waved pit board. It's emphatically waved up and down. So I think we can assume that we are going to see our number 4 in next time round. But in fact, I think that is now Scott Parkin is electing to stop now. So again, this is going to be interesting. They've gone for different strategies. But it's the Scott Parkin car. Has entered the pits. So he's going to come into the pits now. Has to be stationary for 2 minutes, which is going to seem like a lifetime to him, but everyone is going to be stationary for 2 minutes. It'll even out, and he's going to be sat there, and it's only just as he's going to leave, I think we're going to get the timing should work that we get the leader in.
Yeah, well, here we go. Sorts of stuff coming into that one, but they should be pretty tight on the road after pit stops are done.
It's Scott Parkin now leaving his pit box, crawling down pit lane, which means we should be seeing, and into the pits comes the leader, Heslop and Roberts. So as one car, the second place car leaves the pits, in comes the lead car. So with a 2 minute pit stop, they're lapping in 2 minutes 15, 16, a bit slower because it's going to be the outlap. This could be very, very close.
Yeah, here we go then. We wait and see 2 minute pit stop, 2 minutes of anticipation and waiting to see who comes out where. The top 4, they were beginning to spread out just a little, but not so much that any of them were in any sense safe. It could yet change and flip, it could change, it could end up with anybody in any of those positions. And Honeybone's pace is fantastic. They've, as I mentioned, been way down the order because they made that early stop, but they're now up to 7th overall, and their pace is on par with the leaders. Last time around, 2:15.2 for Honeybone, 2:59 for the lead car. Yes, that included coming into the pits or so, but 2:15 is quicker than Parkin, Johnson and Thompson, quicker than Glover and Wright. That's your top 4. They're quicker than all of them. Honeybone is coming.
That's right. Pretty sure that actually was Will Heslop in the first stint, because he's not the tallest of gents.
Oh, yeah.
So that should be Julian Roberts coming out back in that number 4. They're just now there reaching in, strapping in the driver. To say it's a 2 minute stop, so you don't actually have to do anything in a super rush. Pit window now closed. Just checking down. We still have one car showing us not having stopped.
Yeah, Edwards' Mazda. Oh dear, and I think I've seen the 191 as well, actually. I'm pretty sure that car is still lapping. It's a couple laps off the lead, but it should still be circulating, so not a great call from Edwards. Maybe thinking he could get round one more time, but will not be able to do so. I think all the BMWs now are just playing games to see who can get the biggest slide. It's ridiculous. Every single time I see a BMW, they're just like doing sort of show driving, if you like, through the chicane.
Okay, so now the clock's got to be ticking, and that leader number 4 is rolling. So I'm now looking back up the track to see where Scott Parkin is in that black and red VW Golf. And we've got the car just literally going past my country box as Parkin comes up over Deer Leap. So he's heading towards Old Hall at race pace as Julian Roberts gets to accelerate across the line and is going to rejoin in front of him and accelerating as he's now got the VW behind him and down towards Utah.
Yeah, here we go. How close together are they? There is the race-leading Civic, and the Golf is certainly closer than it was before this round of pit stops then. 13 and a half minutes left to race. And Scott Parkin, Team Darkside, they've been dominant in this series so far. Sensor failure at Castle Coombe meant they did not score very well at all, but when they can complete the race...
They've won, haven't they?
Yeah, and when they complete the race, they have won the race. And they are set out to try and maintain that. Hislop and Roberts, the only obstacle in their way. This time, one of the BMWs goes straight off the BMW in these greasy conditions, not the car you want to be in, I think, is the conclusion from this race.
You're getting all the entertainment out there.
I mean, what can I say? Just fortunate like that.
So the clock ticking now, we're just under 13 minutes, and there's 45 minutes left, race left. So it's just see how this battle settles down, because of course we've got Scott Parkin, who's been in the car since the race start, and Julian Roberts, who quite literally is having to get up to speed.
Here we go then, like you say, coming up to speed, but crucially at this stage, not up to speed. The VW Golf is visibly quicker through the right and the left of Hislop's. Then they'll curve right through Knickerbrook. It's all about setting up the exit, and the VW Golf does that absolutely perfectly. Now they can see the target. Notably behind the Golf is Honeybone. Honeybone is right there, now up into third position, so has made up a position during that various round of pit stops, because Higginson is nowhere. Where is Higginson going?
Just quickly scrolling down, they're showing as missing.
They're stopped on circuit somewhere.
They are, yes. They've got that little warning symbol next to them. TSL as it's going to be my mantra for the day, not in my sight.
I don't believe in mine either. So your previous third place runners in that red and black Civic with the gold writing, the two Higginsons, they're off. That promotes Honeybone up to third, a position that he may well have gained anyway due to brilliant pace during the pit stop window. He shouldn't be able to get too much further up than that, but don't worry for Action, we've still got a lead fight. The two of them separated by 1.5 seconds now. It was as big as 12 at one stage of this race, and ever since then it has just decreased between the top two. Hunting, I think is the word. Stalking their prey is what Scott Park is doing at the moment. He looks calm, he looks assured, and he looks much closer than the last time we saw him.
So someone obviously looking for a casual race is Will Heslop, who's out the car now and is actually stood on the pit lane holding a pillow for some reason. I'm beginning to think there might be a size difference between the two drivers, and it was jammed behind him in the car, maybe. But
it's not just for comfort before. As he gets nervous watching the Golf come, is it?
Yeah, he's brought his comfort pillow. Yeah. I'm so glad Will can't hear us, actually.
It's for emotional support. As that Golf closes in, it was 1.5 seconds as they crossed the line. Crucially, in that top part of the circuit, there's an awful lot of traffic at the moment for those guys. So this isn't just going to be about absolute pace. This is going to be about racecraft, how wily you are, how cunning you can be as you try and scythe your way through without losing too much time. There's a gaggle of 5 or 6 cars just up ahead of them they're going to have to overtake before the end of this one as well. And they are locked together. A little bit of a look, actually, on the brakes comes from Scott Parkin. They are nose to tail. Scott Parkin wants to get this done quickly. He's got so much more front end as they go left. Now they curve right at Knickerbrook. He's just able to turn tighter, which means he can get on the power earlier. He's already been able to brake later than anybody else in this race. Everything is going the way of Team Darkside at this stage.
And he's still got 10 minutes to do it. It's plenty of laps, plenty of race time to actually take that lead. So he can actually got the luxury of being able to pick his moment, I think, to go past cleanly.
He has, but he tried to force it earlier on, let's not forget, and made a mistake. So whether or not he's a patient kind of character is yet to be determined at Scott Park. And I would not be surprised if he tries it in towards Old Hall on this lap.
I'm just waiting to say they should be with me any second, but so an awful lot of cars. There's a big group of cars coming through Old Hall now with their headlights on, which makes me think that lead pair are actually mixed up in them. Yep. And here they are, they're coming through with only a couple of things. Julian Roberts actually coming across to the right-hand side of slightly defensive, but tucks up, takes his line, and that was really, Scott Parkin really, really thought about that. And they're literally going through the corner, maybe a quarter of a length apart. He had a look, and then he feels, not quite this lap.
For me, Scott Parkin's big opportunities, unless there's a mistake from your current race leader, Roberts, is the 2 big braking zones. He's got the bottom of the hill, well, 3, shall we say. He's got Old Hall, and he's potentially got in towards Lodge Corner as well, where he could get it done. All of those need to be covered off every single lap. Now, before then, there's huge amounts of traffic that they encounter as they get towards Island Bend, the last place you want traffic. Both of them sent lunging towards the inside to try and clear 2 backmarkers that were between themselves fighting. You could not ask for more variables in this one, less the fact that I've actually now got a couple raindrops on my commentary box window again. This is all beginning to kick off with 8.5 minutes left to go. The MSVT Trackday Championship is once again delivering yet another blinder.
We're building to a crescendo, aren't we?
We certainly are. We're telling the story.
Cars 0.3 apart, 0.3 of a second apart on that last lap, which that lap was actually almost a second and a half quicker from Scott Parkin, so he's got that in hand.
They're over Hilltop again, and it is covering the inside for the race leader. That's the name of the game. In theory, there was a car's width actually to the right-hand side, to the inside of the race leader, but you would have to really, really commit in order to find it. You would have been so totally on the brakes there. And as a result, with 8 minutes left to race, Scott Parkin thinks better of it. Now, there's a Mazda they're going to have to clear, and they're going to have to clear it near enough on the entrance to Druids. Mazda to the inside, that's going to mean both your race leaders going around the outside of him at that quick double apex right-hander. That may well set up the opportunity, cause a mistake in towards Lodge. This race lead could change at any moment. But credit to Heslop or Roberts. We believe Roberts. He's doing a sterling job, defending when he needs to and taking the racing line where he can.
This definitely is Roberts, because Will's still here hugging his pillow. It's a very nice pillow.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, Roberts is doing a brilliant job of defending them. The perfect, not over defence, but just enough to discourage the move more than anything. You'll love to see it.
And in fact, the move has gone round the outside through Deer Leap. Scott Parkin has gone past and into the lead, cleanly ahead by 2 car lengths as they get through Old Hall. So it's in fact, he crossed the line just before the line. So a fantastic move. I think he got that exit from Old Lodge just perfect.
Yeah, likely Scott Parkin forced the defence out of Roberts because Roberts will have known how strong Scott is on the brakes. And as a result, was able to come back underneath, gave him the outside for Deer Leap, but had more speed, gets the move done. Into the lead goes Team Darkside on for their 3rd win of the season, winning every race that they've completed if they can stay where they are. But 6.5 minutes left to go. Anything could yet happen. That includes further down the field. Alf Hyde has actually just been passed by the Clio of Clark for 4th position. That on the outside of your top 10, or top 5 rather.
That Clio's flying, isn't it? It's actually lapping faster than the lead back.
Yeah, Clark Clio last time around 2:14.3. Your leader did a 2:16.5.
So we'll keep an eye on number 66.
Number 66. What's Clark's gap up ahead? He's got 13.3 seconds towards Honeybone for the podium, but he was 2.5 seconds quicker. This isn't over. He's going to catch him at the end of this race.
I think that's ambitious with 6 minutes left. So possibly 3 laps, but we shall see. I've just got one of the Mazdas coming into the pit, so that's well outside the window, so that's obviously for some mechanical issue. Oh, car 29, 1 lap penalty for a short pit stop has come up on the screen.
Oh dear.
Check as to 29 is the Tom Oatley in the Clio, so quite a bit down the order anyway, I think.
I think the other thing that's not helping Honeybone is he's actually, for that previous lap, would have been right in the middle of that huge gaggle of traffic that Alf Hyde is now only just entering, so he will have lost some time there, which means that the pace difference between the pair of them somewhat exasperated. The other battle that's still going on is the Hewitt and Quinn fight. They've been locked together all race with the exception of a short break during the pit stop window. The gap between them, the Mini, is 7/10 back from Quinn's Ford Fiesta. They've gapped actually Johnson and Thompson by almost 9 seconds at this stage, but that for 10th position.
We've got a car, red flags, there's a car off at the exit of Old Hall.
Oh.
It's directly behind the building for me. I've got a horrible feeling it looks like it may be on its roof.
Oh dear.
So that's an instant red flag.
Well, we shall wait and see what happens here then. In theory, that could just be the race called. We have reached that crucial 75% number.
This race won't be going any further, yeah. That car is upside down and in the into the barrier car. It's like car 21, I think. I can't quite make the number out clearly.
Yeah, we are 89% of the way through this race or so, so we'll wait for the checkered flag confirmation on the timing screen before we read anything out, but that is quite a big hit if he's ended up on his roof. We were speaking about the Ford cars and how they might be a little bit top heavy and short wheelbase and all that sort of stuff, but that is, whilst we wait to see what's happened there, I will read out for you the results of this one. Scott Parkin wins Class B and overall in his VW Golf, driving for Team Darkside. Second place is Heslop and Roberts. They also win Class C, actually, so a great drive from them. And rounding out your overall podium, Honeybone in the Renault Clio, second in Class B. Clark.